Hey guys, welcome to the show. It's Hesiod once again. Usually, I only put Hearthstone content on this channel, but I'm waiting for the new expansion added in Stormwind. In the meantime, I got bored with the meta and can't come up with new decks. But I will update you on new content as soon as the new expansion drops. But right now, Hearthstone is just too stale for me. So lucky me, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is out. And being a huge Ace Attorney fan, I thought this is a great opportunity for me to do something different. So if you're wondering, hey, does this guy even know the A in Ace Attorney? I played all Ace Attorney games except for these ones, and Ace Attorney Investigations 2, which you can't get a hold on legally in the West. And at least as far as it goes for me. I'm not playing on Switch because I don't own one. I'm playing the Steam version, which I bought on pre-order a long time ago. I would love to play the game on my 3DS, but unfortunately the system is discontinued and not available there, so doesn't matter. Now finally I get to play. Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on my journey. I haven't played the game yet, so this is absolutely blind. I successfully avoided all spoilers and just looked at the settings to make sure everything is proper and set for recording. And now, without further ado, let's get into it.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Oh. A murder, who would have thought?
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Alright then. Episode 1, The Adventure of the Great Departure. Bienvenue au la Carnival. Sorry to all the French watchers. 22nd November, 8:43 AM, Supreme Court of Adjudicature, Defendants, Antechamber 5. I can't still believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glass, murderer. Sorry. My name is Yurunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow find myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. The graphics are awesome, by the way. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Yunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean? I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. I hope I don't butcher his name too harshly. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still... Oh, it's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma! It looks like you're going to get study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'll have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time, I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy the place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. I'm gonna check out these buttons later. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chamber. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. Your advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba! I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that the permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me knowing that if he fails his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it! I'm not a murderer! I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant? Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. Sorry guys. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty of failing to appear? Get moving, there's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Sorry? This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dream of studying abroad are over, and what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Okay, there we go. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. 22nd November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. So this is a courtroom? The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting on the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and governmental officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency.
As is the defense.
Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate.
That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself.
Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial?
This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question Professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Answer I do, of course, right? Wait and see. Now, let's just answer I do. I answer do. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear.
Yes!
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst?
I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself.
You'll be... what?
What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that really. It's just that... well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in.
Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency.
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, He can't be questioning it more than I am.
So, let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Oh, yes!
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But... wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Inosuke? Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Okay, I can also just do this, I guess. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching people instead with E. Okay, so let's see what we got there. And where's the collar pin? Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yume University. Oh, this is a cool play on the badge with Phoenix. I always wear it on the collar of my uniform jacket. Okay, I have to press people. You'll find the details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. Okay. Alright, so Kazuma Asugi, he's 23 years old, a second year at the Imperial Yume University. He's my best friend and, despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well. This is Yujin Mikotoba. He's 42 years old, a medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. He's an authority in forensic medicine and Kazuma's mentor. That is Taketsuchi Aochi, 51 years old, the lead prosecutor of the case, who would appear to have a little love for the changes that the cultural reformation has brought about. And this is John H. Wilson, 47 years old, the victim of this case. He was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from British Empire. Okay, so it's Mr. Wilson. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People's section of the court record, then press R to present. Okay, we'll just do this now. Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson.
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago.
Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations.
There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation.
And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilled on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor?
But I didn't do it!
This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter.
In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think... Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So, I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Willison. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruto. Yes, Your Excellency! How did this professor of medicine, Dr. Jane H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Yunosuke? Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Okay, this must be the post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Okay, yes! Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma.
Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it.
Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, the police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later.
This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime.
Okay.
You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Oh, that reminds me of... Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. Photograph of victim. A photographic print that shows the victim. He was shot from the front, in the chest, and subsequently died. Ooh. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to drawing. The details is incredible. Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
This is it then? I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. first witness. There we go, finally!
Witness, state your name and occupation for the call, please.
Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I'm the head waiter at Western style restaurant called La Carnevale. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should.
As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It became a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident.
At once, sir.
And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him!
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness report of what he saw. You amateur!
But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Inosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, you must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around the table? What's the matter, Inosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I'm gonna wait and see. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Inosuke? If your parents tell you so, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I'd never have got into Yuma University otherwise. But you can't just always follow rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And
There is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my ass and say
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Attention!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this Miyastun, is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw. Osonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. Actually, I have a rough plan of the rest of as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Okay. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Sorry, I don't know the word. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. The head waiter's business card, a sketch of wrestling players, is on the back.
So, the court has now heard a presses of the case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency?
If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems.
Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence?
Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Victor said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this.
As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Rinosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll just Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is.
Indeed. Prosecutor Aoji, please continue with the proceedings.
Why, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses.
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once.
I don't like this judge as much as I like the judge from Phoenix.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Yes Sanosa reporting for duty, sir.
Myself, I find employers a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasutai, a humble premise in the second district, Curio Korikuta, at your service.
An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma in the establishment in question.
Always past noon. And not infrequently converse with the interested parties regarding the curious with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller than a buyer.
Now you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative.
The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was the black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir.
This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier's claiming that he actually saw the precise moment he shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
Now the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred.
Sir, yes, sir. Standing by ready to report, sir.
Unsaving memories of a most acerbic afternoon.
I messed that up. So, this is the very first witness testimony. So guys, I'm sorry, but here I'm gonna make a cut because I've been recording for over half an hour already. So if you want to keep up to date, like and subscribe, that helps me out a lot. And thanks so much for watching. See you on the next episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, the first game.